Gamerdude 2088 and Gamerdude 2088 and Gamerdude 2088, and this is my second attempt of recording this video. Alright, this is my second attempt of recording this video. Gamerdude 2088, and today we're going to talk about TOT 60 for the month of September. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass. Luckily enough, my first attempt at it, I completed it, but since I've been trying to make this video, I have had the worst of luck trying to make a video explaining to you guys how it can be done. Okay, maybe the best of the worst case scenario. By now, you've probably done seen me try to do this a million times, or, you know, whatever how I clip this in this video, because this is a struggle. But we're back trying to do this for the sixth time. At least, I don't know, I lost count of this. And I was hanging out in the MMEG Discord during the reset for TOT, and I hear the same thing over and over. Oh my god, TOT 60. And it was crazy. It was crazy. I can see why, because Air DK is not playing. This is like bringing a strength team, man, going up against these guys, because you got to deal with the Fire Druid putting up immunity and all those other buffs that's making it difficult, as well as WHS cleansing every damn thing, which is a problem. Now, I went in, brought in my super team, and like cleared it with the grace of ease. But I'm trying to be as F2P as possible in this next round. But the first thing when I was going through it, I recognized that worked really well was AoE mute, and I had my Green Goblin to do the AoE mute to shut down everybody from using those extra skills. That's going to be a pain in the ass. And a good free to play option for AoE mute would be the Fire Witch. I don't have one, but there's definitely some issues with speed and all of that stuff. I was hoping, because he outspeeds my team, that he would hit my tree, since my tree is the second slowest unit in my team, and I need my Sapphire to be able to CC this damn strength team that you gotta go up against, because the Air Druid is just super fucking fast, at least 150 speed, at least, because my fastest two units in this team is just above 150, and they move before, but it's not enough if my Green Goblin doesn't land the AoE mute on all of the ads. Like, we can miss the boss, but we have to land them on all the ads, because then we're going to be in trouble. So, since the boss put the mute on Sapphire, I won't be able to use Sapphire skills until another turn, because we have to wait for WHS to cleanse, which in this case, Sapphire is so low on health that it's pretty much will be one-shotted at this point. Can we land it? Or we miss one? And we lose Sapphire, and now we're confused. Okay, maybe the best of the worst case scenario. By now, you've probably done seen me try to do this a million times, or, you know, whatever how I clip this in this video, because this is a struggle. But we're back trying to do this for the sixth time. At least, I don't know, I lost count. I would like to clarify a few things. I just found out the Fire Witch is a 3-star unit, so if you're lucky enough to pull her, then the AoE mute is clutch. Definitely important to have going up against this fight. Now, throughout a lot of my TOT vids involving units that have passives or just units that heal, I never say anything about bringing heal blocks, because I believe if you have the proper CC, you're landing your debuffs. Hopefully RNG is working for you if you're meeting the base minimum of requirements that I explain in every video, and bringing in the right passive damage like poison, curse, and parasite. Though curse and parasite being the best of the three, poison still works relatively well if that's what you're using. But if you're bringing those passive damage and you have poison bursters, because that's definitely important to have if you're bringing in poison as a damage, then having a heal block is not quite important in this fight or in any of the other fights that you may have. But if you can't manage to make it through, even if you having the best RNG but it's still not working because the heals are too much, definitely bring you a unit that has a heal block in order for you to be able to clear. Through the bulk of this fight, I was putting a heavy focus on both of the WHS in terms of trying to keep them CC'd as much as possible. The Fire Druids needed to be CC'd as well, but the problem I was having on so many of my attempts was I was losing my Fire Faceless because they will focus on him and then they will CC him, and then it put me in a state of fear because he's confused and I didn't want to use my third skill and he put the parasites on us and disable our HP. So a lot of times I just skip his turn and just use his regular attack. So if he hits somebody, it doesn't do anything. And his passive, even if he cleansed the enemy with his passive, it, well, not his passive, but his first skill, if he cleansed the enemy with his first skill, it really didn't do too much to hinder us because we're not really doing anything anyway. So it caused some of the failure we had because we wasn't able to get the parasites out like we want to. So I put a heavy focus onto them because of that reason. I figured it doesn't matter either way for you. You could, if you have the best RNG and you're able to keep all of the ads CC'd, you can go straight boss. If not, you can chip away at the WHS or the Fire Druids, depending on what your needs are in particular. As well, I was trying to bring my air pony in to the fight, even though I didn't have my air pony glyphed well enough. I was just throwing whatever random glyphs I had left because I don't really use my air pony as much anymore. So I was throwing random glyphs like, all right, we're going to use air pony in TOT, not thinking that I need to have insane accuracy and speed for my pony to really be able to be effective. So that didn't quite work out when I was doing my first initial attempts as F2P as possible. But I brought the air pony in for the buff block because I figured if I could keep the ad CC, that buff block on the boss will be pretty critical. So I'll be able to just have WHS, reset cooldowns, throw a bunch of parasites and curse at the boss, and I'll be able to burst the boss down relatively quick and don't have to worry about physically attacking the boss, because I believe the boss passive is when you crit, the boss heals itself. So we're trying to like not do any actual damage to the boss if possible, just to keep the heals at a minimum. Since I didn't talk about the air DK's skills, let's break them down right now just to make sense of what you're coming up against. And we'll start with the third skill. It's the Defiance passive, which says protect self with Mail of Thorns, which can do some crazy damage, damaging an enemy attacker by 10% of their max HP, heal self by 15% of all max HP upon receiving a critical attack. So yes, it does happen when you get the crit on the boss. So passive damage is better than physical damage for this fight. And then second skill, Depth to Nature, attacks an enemy, mutes them, and curses them for 2 turns, disabling 20% of their max HP. The skill he opens up with if you don't come in fast enough or have some kind of way of cleansing or immunity, and I believe somebody was telling me that they were 198 speed and they was able to outspeed them. I don't have anything that fast, but you don't necessarily have to outspeed the boss in order to survive this. Just having some form of cleanse will be beneficial in this fight. And then the first skill is what's that? This spirit attacks an enemy, 65% chance of stunning them for 1 turn. So yeah, you can undergo some stuns in this fight as well. So this is pretty much what you're up against. Alright, there you have it. Finally. Okay. That was pretty crazy. Well, like I said before, we already completed 60. Luckily, it was easy enough the first time around. This one, a little shaky, but we was able to pull it through. I'm sure this is still going to be really difficult for you guys to be able to handle. Because, I mean, like, I had to do what I didn't have to do my first time around because I was lucky. So, I say if it doesn't work out the first couple tries, keep going until RNG works in your favor. Because the problem I'm having is being outsped and not landing my AoE mute. Now, I don't have the most insane amount of accuracy on my Green Goblin because what I have him built for, he doesn't really need a lot of accuracy to be able to do his job. But in TOT, you definitely got to get above that 80% mark and to get the most effectiveness out of your units. And luckily enough, the boss targeted my WHS and didn't land the mute because her resistance is over 109. Generally, I wanted him to land it on my tree because my tree doesn't necessarily have to heal or use his poison burst on the first turn. He can pretty much skip a turn and put a poison on something and then just get the cleanse from get the heal from WHS, and then she cleanses afterwards. That'll allow the rest of my team to do their job and what they're supposed to do, because the WHS on his side is not as fast as my Sapphire, but the fire druids are faster than Sapphire, so that's a problem for me there. So missing the AoE mute and not being able to use Sapphire, if Sapphire gets targeted by the boss on first turn, then that makes it a difficult thing. So let's talk about some speed requirements here. So we're gonna go look at the units that we're using. We have my Faceless, who's at 157 speed, and the boss outspeeds him. I believe this is my fastest unit, and my second fastest unit will be my Green Goblin at 154 speed. So they're both able to outspeed the druids. So that lets you know already over 154 minimum from what I have is good enough. But Sapphire's not able to beat them at 149. So probably about 150 speed is where those fire druids are sitting at. 150 speed or so, making it at least the one on the right side, because I think Sapphire kind of cuts or whatever, but 150 speed where that one is sitting at. So you definitely want to shoot higher than that, 152 maybe, so 151. I'm not exactly sure where the speed is, but since 154 is the best, I would just shoot for the stats that I got. And then my WHS, she being the slowest in the team, not really fast at all. So everything pretty much moves after her. Moves before her, but that resistance kind of helped in this fight in particular. Same with my tree not really being that fast. Got decent enough resistance, but was able to... Resistance is not the key factor with him. Really is just taking that turn, because WHS can cleanse and help us be able to push forward in that fight. But once again, being able to land those debuffs, shooting above that 80% accuracy, that's like definitely critical. I know I need to improve. I probably can level up these glyphs right here. Improve the speed on Sapphire, so Sapphire won't have those problems, and I don't have to be frustrated and trying to make a video for you guys to be able to learn from. The same with I need more accuracy on my Shaman, but I'm not using any accuracy glyphs on Green Goblin, because I was before, but it was just too squishy and couldn't survive in the dungeons or any of the fights that I was doing, and that was a problem. So for me using it moving forward, that's definitely something. And I know you guys don't exactly have these units personally, but this is definitely a difficult one, trying to go into an F2P. I was originally attempting to bring in the Air Pony, because I was building the Air Pony just to make vids, but my Air Pony stats is just trife. It wasn't going to happen either way, basically with these stats. I just threw whatever random glyphs I had laying around on my Air Pony, and buff blocking is not going to help if you can't CC. And then I tried to bring in Herman as well, but Herman just don't meet the speed requirement. Like 142 speed is just too slow. So I would definitely have to get a Herman over 150 speed in order for Herman to work the same way that Sapphire was able to work. So it is possible. If you did bring Herman in, it could work. And then I don't have a Fire Witch, but if RNG goes in your favor, just having that AoE mute on the Fire Witch, if you had one, would be just enough to be able to help you out. And if you guys have like what's that, the Earth Felicor, then you have a possible purge there. So that will be like in the place of what my Faceless does on second skill, would help you with purge. And if you need to purge a specific unit, if that's what you're doing. And I know everybody don't have the Water Tree as well, but for the people that do, the same way with WHS, if you do, make those work. If you got the Air Crusader, the Air Crusader works, because cooldown reducers are critically important going into TOT. I mean, you don't necessarily need them, but they make the job so much easier. And I know going into the further stages, I couldn't imagine not having them. So if I had the glyph quality or something to be able to showcase a more free to play team doing it, I would. But I mean, I even talked to somebody in the MMEG Discord about just like TOT Nightmare, and he was just like, you have to have really great glyphs, and you gotta have Nat 4s. It's like, and if you are using anything less than Nat 4s, like if you are using like a Nat 3 team, then you gotta have really good glyphs on those Nat 3s, because it really is unit dependent, is what he was saying. Like going into Nightmare, and I mean, I'm not even really doing Nightmare yet, so I get to see what that cancer is like later. For this, the AoE mute, I believe, is important. Being able to keep all the ads CC'd as much as possible, getting over 150 speed, because long as you're able to cleanse yourself, and the boss, even if the boss hits whatever water unit that you have and CC them, long as you're able to cleanse before or after, you should be relatively okay if you got the right synergy with your team and all. Or just straight up bring immunity in, because immunity is like a good thing to have. I mean, like if you had a really fast fire druid, like I could have brought my fire druid into this fight, even though I don't think she was been the best candidate for it. I could have brought her in and have her pop immunity, and then see, because she's slower too. So scratch that. Scratch that. She's too slow. The boss. I'm not sure how fast it is. I could take my booster in and see if my booster outspeed, but that'd be maybe something later. I don't know. I probably won't end up doing that. At least for this fight, you're gonna have a really tough one on your hands. I don't see this as being a fight that you're gonna immediately be able to take on unless you just got the perfect RNG right off the bat. It might take a few tries, but stick with it. If you take these tips with speed requirements, accuracy requirements, as well as having your units decently tanky, because that boss hits hard and you do not want to take too many hits from the boss. You definitely gotta be able to have some good heals. Like a strong static heal is going to be real important. So if you like got something like Water Druid, that might even be helpful. Just something with a static heal on top of having regens. Like the WHS has a static heal, Air Crusader has a static heal. If you're using those units, I really wanted to like do a close to I can get to possible F2P friendly team, but it just wasn't working. It was no way I was going to make it happen, not with the stats that I got on those units and what they have and what I was pretty much using. So that means I would have to improve on those units in particular, because like I would normally use Herman, but like since I have Sapphire, Herman is not necessarily needed, because Sapphire would do a better job at surviving than Herman would because of just the base stats alone. But if I had Sapphire's glyphs on Herman, or a combination of the two or whatever to get the best stats I can possible, then Herman would definitely be viable, because, you know, Herman's OP. Now, as far as George go, I don't think George will be the best for this fight, because you're not worrying about slowing down the boss from getting his turns or anything. You're just pretty much trying to keep the ads CC'd and possibly kill them off the side if things are not going like in the fight that I was doing, things wasn't going exactly according to plan. So you want to slowly kind of chip them away, and at the same time just putting out whatever damage you can on the boss passively, because you don't want to necessarily directly attack them because of the air decay being able to heal itself back up. So if you're able to get that CC out on the ads and keep cycling CC so they're not moving, then you can focus more so on the boss. If not, focus on the ads and try to burn them down first and then go boss, if that makes any sense. But I know I'll probably start repeating myself more and more if I keep going, because this was a really difficult fight. Like, first try, boom, beat it. Try to record, not working. Try to record again, not working. Okay, let's put the real team in. Didn't work. Let's do this a couple more times. Finally, we got it. So this is a frustrating one trying to make this video. I know it's a frustrating one for you guys trying to face it, but hopefully you guys can get through it so you can go on and get back into the part of TOT that you were stuck on last month, because everybody's stuck on this one this month. And this is the Gamer Dude signing out. See you in the next TOT video. Deuces.